Alright guys, here with the 60 Bel Air, and it's raining outside, but I wanted to work on this thing because I'm been itching just to hear this thing run for a while. Radiator is in, bolted in. Radiator lower radiator hose. I had to order an upper. Apparently all they have is a flexible hose. That's kind of unfortunate, but whatever. But yeah, I definitely feel like we could probably trim a couple inches off of this thing, because definitely seems like it's longer than it needs to be, but I think I'm not going to trim it yet. But yeah, believe it or not, the oil filter's in there. Interesting. It's got stainless braided lines that go in and out of it. One thing that's kind of interesting that kind of threw me for a loop and throws me for a loop every time I hook the battery up, if you see this positive cable is actually the ground. So on this car it's red to negative and black to positive. I'm going to change that around because that's just, I don't like it. All right, guys, so I got the cooling system plumbed, but my stupidness didn't think that I would need hose clamps, because I thought maybe my Hobo Freight assorted kit would have what I need, but it just doesn't go big enough. I kind of scavenged around the garage to find stuff, but I came up pretty much empty-handed. So I did what I could. I had enough for the heater core lines, as you can see, and I reused one there. And then I did something that I'm not necessarily proud of, but hey, desperate times call for desperate measures. I've been itching to hear this thing run and just let it run for a while. So I think that as long as I don't allow the system to build pressure, I don't think I'll have an issue. But I just put some zip ties on there for now, just so that way it holds it so it's not leaking. And like I said, as long as I don't put the cap on it to build pressure, it should be fine. Yeah, I guess if I have worst case scenario, it's gonna make a mess, I'll just make sure I'm not standing super close to it. I mean, should be fine. I've done worse. So I guess let's get some coolant mixed up and fire this thing up. so I went ahead and changed the oil. As I was pouring it, I heard a weird noise. And the way this coil's held on, it's held on by two bolts to the block. It's supposed to wrap around the coil and bolt in, but this coil is apparently a bigger diameter than the factory coils, so I could only get one bolt in. Well, apparently I just left the other bolt out, and as I was filling oil was leaking out of that hole. That kind of caught me by surprise, but I caught it, didn't lose too much. Yeah, so let's hook up the battery and start this thing and let her run. I got coolant in it, probably got 3 gallons at the moment. Yep. Well, apparently my zip tie theory isn't gonna work good enough, but I'm gonna start it anyway. Yeah, I lowered the idle a little bit. Probably filled in too much of coolant. I don't know. But it's running. I'm gonna let her run, see if the thermostat cracks. So yeah, that was pretty much a miserable failure. I had it idling for probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, and the temp gauge was actually working, which shocks me. But it started getting hotter than I would like to see it. It didn't really seem like it was taking any coolant, so I didn't want to overheat it, crack the block or the head, or who knows what. This thing's been sitting for so long, I just kind of figured I'll ease into it. Made a huge mess. Made a nice oil dry dam to kind of not have the mess be too spread out. Probably gonna pop the thermostat out and see what it looks like inside of there. When I shut it off, it puked quite a bit out, and it was pretty nasty, dirty. I probably should have just ran water through it the first time. I don't know if you guys can see, kind of it's pretty gross and dirty in there. But probably should have maybe flushed it first, I guess. I don't know, I kind of was nervous because it's starting to get cold here. Last thing I want to do is forget that this thing has water in it instead of coolant and, you know, cause damage. Wow, really should have probably pulled this thermostat out before I tried to go through this. Look at all that junk. Looks like mouse poop and God knows what. Wowza, that's pretty gross. Yeah, wow, I'm glad I decided to stop. I really should have just done this first instead of dicking around, but look at all that. Wow. Let me get a screwdriver so I can show you guys how nasty that is. Let's see if I can do this all. Just rust. Oh gosh, makes me kind of nervous of what's all in the block. My gosh. Oof. Man, that is some nasty stuff. Wow. Yeah, I should have waited to flush this out. That was a mistake. Just nasty. So yeah, decided to push it outside, get the garden hose and flush it out. I ran clean water through it for probably 3 minutes before it cleared up. It was just absolutely gross in there. As you can see, still like mud water in there. So there's still some gunk in there. Probably get a couple heat cycles through it before I actually put coolant in it. Really wish I would have waited instead of wasting, you know, coolant. Let's pull the drain plug on this thing. It's pretty gross. I'm just gonna drain this because it's all poop water anyway. Oof, stinks. So I'm not too concerned about, obviously, this just draining in the driveway. It's just muddy water at this point, probably rust water. I flushed it out with the garden hose. Probably took 5 minutes of just with the drain open and the garden hose in the top of the radiator here, just letting the water run, and it was just rusty, muddy, nasty stuff. So, but I have the thermostat in it now. I have coolant in it. I filled it with the thermostat out. I filled the block up so it shouldn't have to pull coolant into the block to crack the thermostat. It should, you know, it should already all be there. Yeah, I'm gonna start it. Fired up pretty good. Didn't take anything yet. See? But yeah, so I guess I'll just let her run here and let her warm up, and hopefully the thermostat cracks. And yeah, hopefully that's all I gotta do with the cooling system. I mean, it should have been plenty clean enough. I shouldn't need to dump this coolant now. It should be nice and clean, and you know, I guess maybe stuff will break loose. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'll bring you guys back in a couple minutes. Yeah, you can see 72,000 miles. Still got that generator light. Alternator seems like it's charging. It's only charging at like 12.4 volts though, so it's definitely not enough. But I think it's doing something, which is better than nothing, I guess. Still burping stuff out. It's getting, the thermostat should be popping open any second here. Stuck and bubble and... Oh, is that it? Oh, there you going? Oh, there it is. Oh boy. Oh god. Oh jeez. Oh my god, what do I do? Oh, she's getting hotter than I like. I just wish that thing would just crack open already. Or what's going on here? I'm kind of freaking out a little bit. Can't see how dirty that coolant still is? Yikes. Come on, crack already. she cracked, she cooled down a little bit. Cool. That's awesome. Look how dirty that is. Definitely cracked. All right, I'm gonna put the radiator cap on it and shut it down. See if I can do this without hitting my fingers on the fan blades. Oh, this makes me nervous. Oh, there it is. It's holding temp. I guess let's shut her down. Whew. Wow, look at all this stuff. All the steam coming off the radiator from the stuff I spilt and that bubbled over. Stuff burning off the block. Probably first time this thing's been up to temp, and gosh, I really wish I knew how long this thing hasn't ran for. All right, that's gonna conclude part 2 of the 1960 Chevy Bel Air. There will be a part 3. That's gonna be brakes, lights, interior stuff, buffing on the paint. You can see some of it's shined up already. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I really appreciate you guys tuning in if you've made it this far. This has been fun. Yeah, so I guess till next time.